Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about the mandolin. This is a mandolin. The shape of the body, this is a sort of teardrop mandolin with a few cuts in it, doesn't make much difference. It's the tuning that makes it a mandolin. So let's get started. The bottom two strings are tuned to E. The next two strings are tuned to A, the next two D, and the next two G. So it's E, A, D, G. Those of you who play guitar will know it's basically a guitar turned that way round. So if you're a guitarist and used to playing this way, the way to think about the mandolin is it's being turned upside down, so your chords are sort of inverted. But if you don't play the mandolin, let's get started. We'll start with the first chord, a G chord. So let's get started. The third finger goes on the bottom string at the third fret. These metal things going down are frets, and this is the nut. So it's 1, 2, 3. So the third finger goes on that string there, and the idea is you cover both of them. If it sounds like this, you're actually on the fret, so move back a little bit till it rings clear. And that is the first finger of a G chord. Your middle finger goes on the second fret of the A string. So you've got the third fret of the bottom string, second fret of the A string, and that's your G chord. And we're just going to strum down for now. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll go for that again. Third fret with the third finger, second fret with the second finger, and these two strings are open. And that is the G chord. Now you have the G chord, let's move on to the C chord. This is relatively easy to do on the mandolin. You've got your G shape there, yeah? All you do is keep that shape and move it one string up that way. So now it's the third fret of the A string and the second fret of the D string. That is the C chord. Again, if you go back to your G shape, all you do is move everything up one string that way. And that is your C chord. So we'll do 4 on G and 4 on C, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And that is your C chord. We'll go for that again just one more time. You know the G chord? Move everything up one string this way, and that's your C chord. Now that we have the G and the C chord, you need one more chord to be able to play some songs. So we'll get started. This is the D chord. A bit different now. You've got the second fret of this thick string here, the top string here, and the thin string at the second fret there. And this is your D chord. So on your thicker string, the second fret, and on the thinner string, the second fret. And that is your D chord. I'll go for that again. Second fret of the thicker string and second fret of the thinner string. Now we have 3 chords, we can start to play a song. So we're going to do 4 strums on each chord. 4 strums on G, C, and then D. Like this, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. repeat. We'll do that one more time. We are simply strumming through the strings. I will cover more strums in a few minutes. So, G chord, C chord, D chord, G chord, C chord, D chord, G chord, C chord, D chord, before we move on, there's one more thing you can do to the D chord. You can add your third finger to the third fret of the A string, and that becomes a D7 chord. So you've got G, C, D7 now, and G. So you can either use the D chord or add that finger and make it a D7. I'll explain that more in future videos, but if you can practice both D and D7, it's useful to know. So one more time, G, C, D, G. Now that you have the chords G, C and D7, we can try a few more strums. I use a plectrum. There's many sizes and thicknesses and all sorts of materials they're made from. It's purely a personal choice. I use quite a thick plectrum, as you can see, and this rubber grip just gives me something to grip onto. You hold the plectrum something like that. So your hand's like that and it fits there. So you see it sort of like that. Yep. How much you show is again purely a personal choice. Some only show a little. I use it about there. But for now, we will practice some strumming. So we'll just stay on a G chord up here. What you're doing is strumming down all the strings to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. We are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, but strumming 1, 2, 3, 4 to each count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we know our chords, we'll do G, C and D again. We're doing this 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You must keep a steady pace. What you don't want is this. I'll over exaggerate this, but you'll get the point. You don't want 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You must say 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that rhythm and change chords accordingly. So we'll do 4 on G, 4 on C, 4 on D, and back to G. So it's like this. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is a very basic guide to strumming 4 beats to the bar. When you can strum 4 beats to the bar, you can add an upstroke on the and. So it goes something like this. Instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you don't count slower, you fit an and in between each count of 4. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so on the and you're strumming up. Now when you strum up, you only have to catch a couple of strings, you don't have to catch them all. So it goes something like this, just on a G chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So, we'll add that to the song now. G, C, D. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now you've got 2 strums, but you can vary them up. So the first time we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we'll go for that again. The first time round on the G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Any order you want. The only thing that matters is you keep the downstrokes on the pulse of 1, 2, 3, 4. When you can play the G, C and D chord, we'll add one more chord to the mix. The reason we do the G chord this way is if you take your 3rd finger off and add your 1st finger to the 1st fret at the bottom string, that is a G7. Now this is used from going from G to C. It just sounds a bit more musical than like this. So okay, we do a G chord for 3 beats. On the 4th beat, we change to the G7, then to the C chord. So you get. It just sounds a bit more musical than jumping from a G to a C. Again, we take the 3rd finger off and add the 1st finger to the 1st fret, and that's a G7. So to change from G to a C, you do the first 3 strums on the G. To count it, it will be. Go for that again. 1, 2, Now that we can play 3 chords, we can now have a go at the 12-bar blues. So let's get started. We will just be using downstrokes for now until we get the rhythm in our head, and then we can move on. So 4 bars of G. 1, 2, 3, 4. First bar. Second bar. Third bar. Fourth bar. After that we change to C for 2 bars. Another bar. Then 2 bars of G. Then 1 bar of D. 1 bar of C. Then 2 bars of G. So we'll go through that again. 4 bars of G. 2 bars of C. Back to G. 1 bar of D. 1 bar of C. 2 bars of G. When you can do that, we can add a bit of rhythm. This time we're going to be using upstrokes as well. Upstrokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. First bar. Second bar. Third bar. Fourth bar C. Back to G. D. C. And G. We'll do it again after 4. Let's go. 1 first bar. Second bar. Third bar. Fourth bar. C. Back to G. D. C. And G. And that is the 12-bar blues in the key of G. When you can play that, we'll add a little bit more to it. When you can play that 12-bar blues pattern, there's a little bit more we can add to it. It is the G7 chord, like this. So for the first 3 bars, you just do a normal G. Then for the 4th bar, you do 1 and 2 and 3 and change to the G7 for 4 and, then into the C. Then back to G. Then 1 bar of D. 1 bar of C. 2 bars of G. We'll do that in context so you can hear it. It goes like this. And that's something you can do with the G chord. There is something you can do with the D chord, and that is to lift one of the fingers off when you're strumming. So you can go like this. So we're doing the D chord. It's 1 and with it on. Take that first finger off. I'm over exaggerating this. In reality, you just got to lift it off a little bit. So it's 1 and 3 and in context with the song with the other G7 bit. So we'll go through that again very slowly. For 3 bars you just play a normal G chord. For the 4th bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and G7, 4 and into a C chord. Back to a G chord. D chord. That is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C chord. Then 2 bars of G. And that is how you can play the 12-bar blues on the mandolin in the key of G. There'll be more mandolin videos to come. I hope you found this useful. If you have, please subscribe to Blackpool Music School and give us a like. There's descriptions down below and links to all Blackpool Music School's projects, shall we say, and videos and much more besides. If you can, follow us on Twitter and Facebook and spread the word about Blackpool Music School. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and until next time, keep playing.